Okay, so now we're going to improvise a little bit. I have two tracks here. One of them is 98, one of them is 96. They are both instrumental tracks. And I also have a couple of scratch sounds that I'm going to include in this. And just to start off, I want to play around with both tracks and make sure that both tracks work correctly. So here's what the first track sounds like. Sounds pretty cool from there. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. And then this one sounds like this, which I think you've heard in previous videos. So both tracks have pretty much an okay similar beat to each other. And by the way, they are both in 5A, which is the code for mixed in key, that they are in the same key. So I can play one first and then the other one that can come in a little later, you know, on the 4th bar or the 8th bar, and it will sound pretty good on the mix. So here's how I improvise a little bit. And as I'm doing this, as soon as I take one of the tracks out, I'm going to immediately load a scratch. So I'm going to go into this section here, and I'm going to go ahead and choose this one. So when I am done messing with this track, I'm going to go ahead and quickly hit Command left to load in my scratch sound. And then I could continue scratching on top of this track. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to start off with this track first. So here we go. Right now, I'm going to jump back to the first cue point. Jump back. Turn the volume down if I want to. Always on beat. I mimic this one, so I'm quickly going to jump to my scratch now. So I set this one up, and I'm going to do a little bit of phrase mixing, which is like this. So I'm talking to the audience now. Yo, check this out, man. Here comes the scratch. Few points for this. Jump back to that yo. And I can play around with the scratching now. So let's talk about scratching real quick. Scratching is a technique that people use to just take small parts of songs or long parts of songs or long parts of sounds really and pull back with the record to create that type of sound. Now not every sound is going to work for you. You want to try to find sounds that have phrases, especially like this one that says yo. I'm going to bring this back to the yo so you can hear it. Yo! Right? So this phrase goes yo, check this out, man. And then that typical wah scratch that you hear in almost every, you know, battle record out there. So by using this yo, I set my marker to start phrasing from the needle. So this marker is pointing at this needle. So every time this needle crosses, every time the marker crosses that needle, it's going to create the yo sound. Now the yo is only going to go about that far, so we only have about this much to play along with the record. Now the trick to this is the crossfader here, the one that goes left to right. In order for you to get sound, you have to first have it in, right? So when you bring it in, it makes that sound. Now, in order for me to chop it or cut it, as it's saying yo, I cut it out. So it goes kind of like that. So if I do that often, bring it in and out, you get that effect with it. So it's also known as a transformer. The transformer, because I can go slow as possible. As long as I have some noise going through that section, I can quickly tap it, and you're gonna hear it go do 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 like that. So it makes it sound kind of like a transformer. Depending on the sound that you have, you can make it even sound like a long, type of transformer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the record, and the record's still on, but I'm just gonna slowly move this back and forth, and it's gonna totally sound like a transform sound. And all I'm doing is slapping back each time to the right to cut out the sound when I want it to chirp. That brings me to the other scratch, which is called the chirp. The chirp is like a little, imagine a bird going tick-a-doo-doo, tick-a-doo-doo, something like that. So what you want to do is, with this crossfader, you want to bring it back and forth as fast as possible. So sometimes you have something called a crab scratch, which is using these 3 fingers. Some people like to use their pinky, but I like to use these 3 fingers. And what I do is I slap it once in, twice in, 3 times in on a quick, on a very quick maneuver. So the way this works is I let the record go and I crab scratch the chirp. So that you heard right there was the chirp. So by having that sound available and using that crab scratch maneuver, it allows you to achieve that sound. So let me play that with the beat and show you how that's going to sound. That's how the crab scratch works on this, and it's a really great tool, especially if you find a great sound that will, sound phenomenal when you use that, depending on the track you're using. So now I'm using a combination of stuff. I'm using the transform, this one that I showed you before. But as long as I have noise, remember, as long as you have noise, you can get away with just about any type of scratch or any type of noise. So I'm going to use a combination of that sound with the crab scratch. So the other one that I'm going to show you is just a simple follow with the scratch sound that you want to scratch. In this case, I have a really long sound going on here that as long as I have it playing, I can make it say whatever I want to, and if I want to use the different pitches, I can give it a different pitch effect also. So I'm going to take off my key lock because I want to be able to go up and down pitch whenever I hit my 45 RPM button and my pitch or my super pitch. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this back to the top, and I'm going to drop it and show you what I mean. There we go. 45. And this is still going. And my number 3 cue point will bring it back. Ultra pitch. Scratch just about any type of movement that has sound on it. So it's really cool to, learn on some turntables because you get that effect no matter what, even if you turn off the power switch. Unlike a controller, electrical controller, you turn the power switch off, you turn the whole unit off. So you so you won't get that type of effect. But there are some effects that we will get into in the next video about using effects that sound just like turntables but on a controller. So I want to bring in a song now on top of this one, right? So I'm going to wait for the 1 again so I can punch it in and have enough time to bring my next song in. Here goes the 1. Now I'm going to bring in my next track, which was the one that you heard recently. I'm going to turn this up to 2 BPM because I know that it is 2 BPM slower than that one. So I prepare it. Here goes the 1. Dropped it right on time. I'm going to bring it back again. Turn my EQs up. Here comes this track. And that's how we quickly mixed in the next track. And as you can tell, I'm not using headphones. It's because I already know how these beats are going to work. I already know how they're going to drop. I know when they're going to drop. I know the level that I'm supposed to drop them at. And my timing has to be perfect in order for me to not use headphones. If not, I want to be sure to use them so I can cue up the very next track. If I want to bring in another type of scratch, I'm going to show you what it sounds like on the right hand. Because the right hand also does different types of scratches that the left hand doesn't. You might be ambidextrous and be able to do the same thing on both hands, but in my case I can do something different on my right hand than I can do on my left hand. So I'm going to go ahead and show you just a quick scratch on my right and the difference that it has on my left. I can't rock the fader the same way with my left hand as I can with my right hand. Like for example, the crowd scratch, I'm a little strange when I do it, so I try to avoid that scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the different type of scratches you can get with the right hand using this sound. So what I did there is I did a little maneuver that, let me bring that scratch back. That goes like this. I move my right hand forward, bring my right hand back 1, bring it back again. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. As you get used to it, you get a little more flexible with it. And this was like originated back in the 80s. And that type of scratch comes in very handy when trying to bring in like phrases or a different type of talk, but it also works well with noises as well. So I'm going to bring that track back and just show you how that one scratch sounds. Thing of getting used to. Like I said, turntables are very muscle memory based, meaning that you have to get a feel of them first before you can actually achieve all these things. And that's about it on my improvisation. I can go all day with these same beats back and forth, but just for now, those are the scratching techniques. That's how to bring in a track real quick without using headphones. Be sure to know your BPM so you can go ahead and adjust those things before the next track comes in. And that's basically it.